This is the better timestamp. Wait, what?
Put on the PC. Oh my god, okay. Oh. Yo, Big Lisi, thanks for 4 months. Yes, the Annihilator Cup for sure, if they invite me again. Yes. Yo, Kosio, thanks for the sub. Sorry, I haven't been reading the subs today. Bad streamer. Wait, after the PC? Oh my god, okay, so... This is gonna sound schizo, but I promise it's true. People keep trying to get into my computer, so I sent my computer back to Starforge to be wiped, and they gave me 2 new PCs so I can do a setup where I have one PC that's only for streaming, and I have one PC that's only for, like, my banking stuff and my...
Wait, what? People keep trying to get into my computer?
Discord and stuff, so they're completely separate, but I've got 2 PCs under here now, and one of them, oh my god, Starforge hooked me up, bro. They gave me the ultimate. It has a 5090, and I'm gonna use it to play TFT and League of Legends and Mega Bonk. Sorry, Starforge. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, Starforge type, haha, it's okay. Thanks, Starforge. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh shit, yo, Code Red, thank you for the 25. Thank you. But yeah, Starforge has my old computer, and it's not even the first time it happened. The same thing happened, I think it was in January or February. I also had to, okay, so you know how I know? Because, oh my god, I don't want to, like, explain it because I don't want to, like... So basically, stuff on your computer will just start moving on its own, and that's how you know. But they'll try to do it when you don't see it, but I saw it, so... Yo, Chaos Fruit, thank you for 25 gift subs.
I don't know anything about, like, her computer knowledge or whatever. Is she retarded, or is this, like, a troll, or...
Thank you.
Maybe she's a schizo.
Cinema rated addicted to Mega Bonk, dude, fuck yeah. I love that. Very sick. Oh my goodness. Yo, Bedhead, thanks for gifting a sub to Maple Story. W Maple Story. Yo, thank you for 10 gifted subs. Thank you. What else have I been doing? I was only in Kansas for like 4 days. Besides that, I've just been here. I hung out with Bonnie a lot. We went out and got sushi and shit, and yeah, good times. Besides, I've just been like chilling. Like, oh god, I'm so thankful. I don't want anyone to think that I'm like complaining, right? I learned something new because of all the
I don't understand. Wiping your PC doesn't delete chat logs. No, all that shit is integrated on, like, all your devices nowadays. I mean, yeah, but I mean, you can argue whatever the fuck you want to the court. I mean, and try to obfuscate as much as possible. I mean, Pixie was claiming in her deposition that, oh, I think Aaron blocked me, so I don't have any of the logs on Discord. Or, like, she said a million retarded fucking lies about why she doesn't have any of her stuff, so...
Incidents in the past month. Did you guys know that when you get too many DMs on Discord, Discord starts hiding them? I didn't know that either. But, it's...
What? Hold on.
Complaining, right? I learned something new because of all the incidents in the past month. Did you guys know that when you get too many DMs on Discord, Discord starts hiding them? I didn't know that either. But, it literally took me like 3 weeks to reply to everybody, but I reply to almost everybody now. Yeah, they start like...
I mean, what would possibly be on the old PC when any relevant evidence would be in Discord? Well, like, say she'd redacted her Discord logs and she only had a local copy or whatever, and then she wiped her computer. Those are gone forever. Any end-to-end encrypted chats that don't sync across devices could theoretically be gone. So I don't know if WhatsApp or Telegram syncs automatically. I know Signal could or couldn't, depending on your settings, so those could be gone. Any other... I don't know what kind of, like... I don't know if you have, like, local text syncing on computers, depending on what you have, but...
Okay, so how does this, like, it'll fill up your sidebar, and then they're like, oh, okay, it's only, like, 20. It's not that bad. And it'll open one at the top, and a new one will pop up, and a new one will pop up, and a new one will pop up. And I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. But, I mean, yeah. That's just how it goes, I guess.
Is her Discord, like, public? Like, anybody can message her? Or I don't understand.
Like, it'll fill up your sidebar, and then they're like, oh, okay, it's only, like, 20. It's not that bad. And it'll open one at the top, and a new one will pop up, and a new one will pop up, and a new one will pop up. And I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. But, I mean, yeah. That's just how it goes, I guess. Bro, my PC's got hacked the same way 2 days later. I got 2 fraud charges on my bank account. Yeah, I think that... Okay, so apparently a lot of these people target people that they suspect have a lot of crypto. I don't got any crypto, so they didn't get nothing.
Okay, I just don't watch her streams normally, so I don't know if she normally acts like this, but, like, just on a whatever... If I had, like, an ordinary basis, like, this is a person lying 1 trillion%. But some people have their own quirks with how they speak and things that they say or whatever, but... If somebody has, like, an odd behavior that they've engaged in, and then they try to over-explain the rationale for it with weird details that are hard to understand, like, that always comes off as a lie. When people are lying about things, they try to add a lot of detail to it because they think that having detail makes it more likely to be true in the other person's mind. But if you know what to listen for, it very much comes off like the person is lying. Like, oh, what were you doing yesterday? Oh, I think, we went to John's house. I think we watched School of Rock, I think, because that movie's awesome, and smoked a little. It was like a story. But you're like, oh, what'd you do last night? And it's like, oh, we went to John's house last night. I remember we watched School of Rock on his Netflix account because he uses his sister's login. And we had we smoked. They had these the Continental vape smoke things from the local weed shop, and they were so good. We got super high off of the, like, people will add details like this because they think it makes the story sound more credible. It doesn't. It makes it sound super obvious you're lying. But it's the fact that she's like adding a bunch of random stuff, but it's also like so retarded. Like, my mouse is moving on my computer and I can tell I'm hacked because my files are moving when I'm not watching is like, that's like the most retarded thing. Like, your computer's ratted, or like, I don't understand. Like, if that was the case, she needs to go and change the password on every single account that she has and potentially close some accounts completely. Like, that's just like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I don't understand. What she's saying sounds like she needs like a full audit and cleansing of every single account and every single thing she has that's attached to her on her computer and off her computer. So
Okay, so apparently a lot of these people target people that they suspect have a lot of crypto. I don't got any crypto, so they didn't get nothing out of me, but they sure tried. They tried twice.
Like, that this statement is either a lie or it's like the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But also, like, doesn't she have friends who are streamers, like Espend or other people? Yeah. Like, I think other streamers would be messaging us like, hey, we should chat after. Like, you need to change every single password you have on a new computer or like on a freshly reinstalled OS because your shit is probably all compromised right now. Like, immediately. Like, you should end stream and do it, because if they have like your email and then if they have your email and a SMS, even with just your email though, they can basically unlock every single fucking thing you have. Like, your shit could be completely fucked.
Yes, sir. I don't have none of that. Yes, sir. Just let me.
Like, that's just a crazy thing to casually drop too. They're like, oh yeah, my computer's ratted. I have no idea, I just see shit moving around on my computer all the time, but I don't have any crypto, so it's good. Like, that's just an insanely crazy thing to say. Like, that can't possibly be true.
Cheddar coin, bro.
But this would also be a really retarded thing for her to lie about.
Well, yeah, but I mean, unless she's trying to set up, like, oh, I can't hand over any documents, it's all gone because I just got a new computer because it was hacked before, ha ha ha, right? So
yeah, it's just so stupid.
Like, doing this like the day after, or a week after the lawsuit was filed is kind of, yeah.
I didn't show
Sussy baka.
the star. Okay, you sleep.
Is that the only time she mentions it, or?
We're alive. Oh, he's so good. Cheddar, did you miss me on my street? He's like, put me down, you vile wench. I'll put it in the cheese tree. There you go. Isn't it a perfect tree?
I won't be distracted by your cat, lady.
And look.
Is anybody in her chat saying anything? Like, bruh, you need to go, like, reset all your passwords, or?
Mott's is as big as Cheddar now. She's getting large, but I think, like, her head is still smaller. I think it's just that she's getting fat. Oh, hi, Cheddar. She's getting quite fat. Can you move out of frame, please, bro? Seriously? After everything, you're still gonna be mean to me. Goodbye. Yo, Ajax, thank you for the 5 gifted. Thank you so much. Oh, shit, level 17 Hyper Train. Holy moly. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I know.
Good business.
Oh, you. I didn't want to focus on me. Yeah, honestly, I just want to watch I'm just gonna watch my fucking daily dose, and I'm gonna play some fuck ass shit like League. Remember I said at TwitchCon, I deserve to play some League. Fuck you guys. Maybe, I might play some other stuff. There's just like not a lot of games right now that I super want to play. Yo, anyway, thank you for the 10 gifted. Thank you so much.
That Quicksilver guy is memeing, right? I think he's definitely memeing.
What kind of game is Dispatch? I keep seeing people talk
He just said, I'm not even
about it, but I haven't watched any of it. I thought it was a story game. Arc Raiders, bro, you know I would be dog shit at that. Yo, remember, thank you for the 10. Telltale? Oh.
I remember when I used
So do you
to
guys
play
like the cheese
Arc
tree or
Raiders.
not? Does it look ugly in my room? I think it looks perfect. It's good. Well, you can't really tell, but this yellow is like, it's like greenish in real life. It looks kind of nasty. And why is there like cheese dripping off the cheese wheel? I don't know. Why is the big doll so dirty? I don't know! She's getting disgusting and filthy! And she's literally done nothing but sit there. She's collecting dirt. Oh shit, yo! Shallon, thank you for the— what the fuck is going on? Yo, Shallon, thank you for the 50 and Ovi.
Alright, is this everything?
Yo, thank you for the 50. Thank you, and Jonathan, thank you for the 10.
Yo, Shallon
Oh my
Monk.
goodness. But yeah, it should be a fun week. I have to go to a meeting tomorrow, for—
Lara finally back clappy. Also, have you beaten Sinner's Mega Bonk score yet?
Meeting
Oh
for
shit,
what?
TTS is back on.
Like, nothing she's saying here even logically follows. So people keep trying to get into my computer. I don't understand what that means. I sent my computer back to Starforge to be wiped, and they gave me 2 PCs so I could do a setup where I have one PC that's only for streaming and one PC that's only for banking and my Discord and stuff. That is not that, like a computer on stream helps people get into your computer. Is she like typing her passwords in on stream? Like, how does that help somebody rat you? I don't.
She's lying, man.
Yeah, I guess 20.
Shrimple as.
Like what?
Bro, my PC's got hacked the same way 2 days later. I got 2 fraud charges on my bank account. Yeah, I think that.
Oh, there, she was getting a chat message there. What is this? Guys, I'll be right back.
Guys, I'll be right back.
Where'd she go?
Wait, hold on.
Back.
Alarma.
You know what? I just realized I didn't change anything when I made the... Guys, I'll be right back.
Wait, why do we see her OBS here if she has 2 PCs now? Wait, I'm so confused. Hold on. All right,
Well, wait, what's the OBS? Show me the OBS.
No! Bro, how does he have all these... What the fuck are his stream overlay?
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Okay, yeah, maybe I was wrong to say he needed to just go.
Very sad today. There's a great clown in town.
Poor Quinn, man.
The main PC is for stream, the other PC is for personal stuff. Oh, like she does the streaming on her streaming PC too. Oh, okay. So she doesn't. It's not like a capture card or anything. Okay, I guess.
Dude, I don't understand why, but Quinn has some of the like most obsessed hate watchers. I feel like he doesn't do anything. Like he's just a guy. That's not working.
Does Quinn have obsessed hate watchers? Is that true? Maybe some
have no
PoE
idea.
haters, but I feel like for the most part, Quinn is almost universally loved. No, actually, I'm so sorry. That's retarded. I mixed him up with Zazarian is universally loved. Quinn can be pretty. I'll
Does he
say
have hate watchers,
provocative.
like snarkers?
He probably has some hate watchers. Quinn can be very provocative sometimes, but I think even he would acknowledge that, right?
Oh, I think he got some. Did Quinn go and kill like an opossum or something? People were mad about that.
He might have, but he's also had like I don't know if I'd say
Yeah.
yikesy, but like controversial political takes and says culture stuff sometimes. Like I don't know as much recently, but
But is your video output OBS 1080p? You know what? I just realized I didn't change.
is your
But is your video output OBS 1080p?
oh.
You know what? I just realized I didn't change anything when I made the... Guys, I'll be right back.
Okay, hold on.
Hello? Can you make sure it's 60 FPS? Guys, I'll be right back.
Based. Okay. Well, hold on. Now she's starting to win me over.
Hello? Sorry, I got a new PC, I forgot! I got a new PC! I had to redo everything, I forgot. That's not working.
Oh, okay. That's it.
Boring.
No! Fuck that shit.
The hair. And plus I have braids under, so it's like awkward. Hold up. I'm logging into my other PC. I want to see.
Oh, cute!
What do you think? Pre-flop it is a flop.
This is from
It's a flop.
Dispatch? Yeah,
oh,
I
that
should
was
probably...
her talking about. Okay. Well. Wait.
What do you think about Miss Kip's video?
I mean, we have to wait and see her response, I guess. I mean, it seems like he's pretty
That's what I
justified in
said.
everything he's saying, though. Like, so she's going to need, like, the ball is in her court right now. She's going to have to 180 some of these claims with some pretty crazy, like, reverse receipts, right?
Hit 10K. I accidentally did a thing that's blocking it and I...
3 balls in her court even.
Okay, so having 2 PCs is actually kind of a pain, but I'll get used to it. It's for security reasons. People don't try to steal my crypto that I don't have.
I'm sorry. This has to be a lie. This has to be a lie. She has to be lying about this, right?
That's what I think.
Sam Wow, thanks for the gift sub.
What does she need to Uno reverse on? Well, I mean, that footnote was kind of a lie, implying that they broke up. That seems to not be true. Or at least there was a yo-yo back and forth. And then, like... I haven't read all the filings, so I don't know for sure. But, like, if a large part of their argument relies on that emotional truth thing, I don't know. I just don't know the case on it. I'd have to read another court case. To be like, oh, like, yeah, he raped me. And then you're like, whoa, that's kind of defamatory. And you're like, that's my emotional truth. Well, excuse me. No, that's not an emotional truth. That's not a subjective statement, regarding your feelings about a thing. That's like that's like a statement of fact.
Pretty big claim.
That's a statement of fact. Yeah. And it sounds like that was how her legal team was trying to defend it as like an emotional truth. The stalking claim, yes, definitely going to need more as well to it. Are streamers really that clueless in regards to anything related to computers? Yes, streamers are retarded. However, she just sounds like she's lying. Like,
This is
I don't even know
exceptionally
where she would
retarded.
get these statements from. And most streamers are pretty nervous about like security related things because people are always trying to hack your accounts and everything. So for her to just casually mention that she knew that people had access to her whole system, especially if she took it to another company, what she would be complaining about was how annoying it was to change all of her passwords and then to go and get like a new SIM card, and that they made her download a password manager, and that now she has like a 2-factor authenticate. Like these are the things that she would be talking about if what she was describing was true, and not like, oh, I got 2 computers, so now I'm perfectly secure. That's retarded. Why would 2 computers make you secure? It sounds like you're just giving people twice the attack vectors because you're too retarded to even keep one secure. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. That's a nonsense statement.
Oh, thanks for 5.
That would be like a 3-day horror show of changing
Of a
all of your
whole
fucking
bunch
passcode.
of shit. Yeah.
Oh my
well,
god.
but actually, no, that wouldn't be true. It would actually be a 1-day immediate horror show because as soon as somebody gained access to her box, they would probably do that fucking if it was people that do the ransom shit,
Cloudflare
then they
shit?
would ransomware it, and then her passwords would have been flipped, and then everything would have been compromised that way. It wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm gonna like rat this box and then just like move files around and just kind of like peek around for a little bit to see what happens. LOL, like that's retarded.
Dude, all of those people who got the fucking like the what's her name? Caterino hack, like Pichao, Koibu, I would have killed myself, dude, if I lost my PC.
Sure. What? Hold on. September 1st.
Didn't transfer any of my files.
September, October, November. September is 2 months earlier, right? Yes, then November. I hate the fucking... What is this?
Lost my entire save because I had to... Converting to tier 1. Did y'all know if it weren't for Crapcat, I would have quit Dark Souls 2 because I literally lost my entire save because I had to get a new PC because my other one got infected by a crypto scammer. He was literally in my PC and I didn't transfer any of my files because I just fucking dropped that shit off at Starforge and was like, yeah, I can't just, you know. And then he recreated my fucking save. Yo, Delph, thanks for the Prime.
It's September.
What?
How is this happening? Does Steam not... Is she not playing on Steam? Or no, wait, this is Path of Exile. Or no, wait, Path of Exile is an online game.
It is online, yeah. Wouldn't they have a cloud save?
She said Dark Souls 2. Oh, that was a Dark Souls 2 save. Well, but isn't it, can you play Dark Souls 2 not on Steam?
I mean, you play on console.
Oh. Well, wait, what? That wouldn't... Your save wouldn't be on your
But
computer.
then that wouldn't make any sense, yeah.
And he's not VIP. Oh wait, I guess you're right. There. I think we have some VIP slots now. Yeah, you're right. I should have done that a while ago. But in my defense, I think he was like newer to the community at the time, and I didn't think that he's gonna be a regular. Diablo 5, yes. Dude, hell yeah.
You can turn off cloud saves on Steam. She doesn't know how to use her computer.
Yeah. I wonder if when did Miskip say he was going to sue her? Has she always been this retarded, or did this like
said it was the day before that she said on stream?
Well, no,
she
yes,
gave her PCs.
I understand that, but this is a totally separate event 2 months earlier. This is September 1st, 2025. So if these things happened within pretty quick succession, I wonder if this has happened before, like in the years prior, before any like lawsuit stuff started to be floated, or if this all just started around. When did she make her big public accusation about Ms. Kiff? What date was that stream? Okay, hold on. I'll just read the complaint.
No one knows anything. Katerina said that DM'd Mr. Moon and Destiny about making an indie game because she ran a malicious.exe from her friends that were the same. They just take all your accounts and shit. Yeah, she was the first retard, and then a bunch of others joined in.
Okay, so this happened in September, prior to October of her doing that stream. So it's hard to believe that this would be a setup then, because she would be planning pretty far in advance for that. So she might literally just be ultra supercomputer retarded. Or this legitimately happened then, and then she's trying to like reuse that event or something. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter what happened. If she took the computer to Starforge, she would have had an obligation to back up stuff anyway. But that shouldn't even matter because most of this shit is backed up online anyway. So I don't know. Whatever. Jesus.
What do you want him to say?
I want him to someone to beat the shit.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, hold on. What is Asmonger's take?
Did you watch the Miskif video? No, I'm not going to make any comments on that because I'm still in a lawsuit with Miskif. I saw that he released a new video, but like I'm not going to make any comments because he's literally suing me for defamation. So when that's over, one way or another.
Is Miskif suing him for defamation? I'm trying to think for when they're all listed on the complaint. Does that mean all of them? Or is it mainly about the contract thing? I don't know. I don't know how it works. What?
I don't know. I think Miskif has like 2 lawsuits out, but I'm not sure.
Well, in this lawsuit, he does list OTK and Asmongold as part of the defendants in the case. But I don't know if the defamation claim carries over to Asmongold and OTK, or if it's just this breach of contract claim. Oh no, Hoyt is under the defamation thing. Have repeatedly published untrue defamatory statements concerning Ronaldo to an audience of millions, painting as a rapist, domestic abuser, and emotional abuser. Oof. Him getting kicked out of the company is going to complicate this a lot too, because that makes it look really sus. But
Sussy baka.
oh my god. Hasan looking like such a proud dad when Kaya nudged the door open. This was so cute. It looks like Kaya's trying to fucking escape from prison. Hold on.
Okay. Go. I want to see if you can watch her.
She's probably worried that she's going to get shocked because the training or whatever is probably still from the every time she would try to like escape the room, he would electrocute her. So that's probably what she's worried about.
Kaya, okay. Kaya, okay. Open the door. Open the door. There it is. Yeah.
Freedom!
She's brilliant.
She's brilliant. The door's already open. Holy shit.
She's brilliant. She's brilliant. That's it. She has a PhD. It's crazy. Okay. Go.
Dude, this dog is so terrified of him. Oh my fucking god. Jesus.
I want to see if you can watch her.
Oh my god. All right.
When that's over, then I'll make comments on it. But right now, I'm not going to say anything. Why would I do that? It'd be stupid to do that, right? And so, yeah, sorry to say, guys. Anybody expecting any drama or anything like that, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, anyway, does Nick's mom hate you? I don't know. Why does Nick's mom hate me? I have no idea. I know people have asked. Obviously, like I said this earlier, I've had like 5 comments in chat about this. I did see people want me to watch the new Miskif video. That's not going to happen because Miskif is suing me. When this is over, then I will discuss it. But I'm not going to make any comments or any sort of input on things based off of, somebody that's literally I'm in a lawsuit with, right? So I just want people to understand that. I did see it. I saw everything that happened. But I'm not going to be making any comments at all until the lawsuit is over. How long until you think it's over? There are multiple finish lines, and I don't want to make any assumptions or any analysis on it because my goal is in getting out of it and then explaining pretty much what's going on. So
Hey, Asmongold, you're going to react to your Queen Emiru's 48 minutes of lies. Or do you want to keep hitting on her saying how cool you are for using the N-word as passwords at 33 years old? Emiru sent this to me in a screenshot years ago. Oh my god, not the N-word. Screenshotted JK, but not actually JK. Diabolical. Diabolical. Diabolical.
What do you want me to say, man?
Okay. The clan's take on the drama. Who is the clan? What does that mean?
Oh, I love the clan.
Powder? Don't get... What? Our time has come to an end. What? Oh, don't care. Okay. Is this like the Nazi VTuber or what?
I have no idea who the fuck this is. I've never heard of Powder.
And it comes across as very feminine to me. This person is retarded. Okay, I'm good. All right.
I wish someone would call me feminine.
Really? I'm law retarded, but page 17 contains the case law Emiru's side used for arguing dismissal. The thing is, I would have to read the underlying case law, so... Texas law is long held... I remember reading some of this at the time, but I don't know how much we dove into anything. As long held that even a verifiably false statement is not defamation, if the context of the statement reveals that the statement was merely a reflection of an opinion, not a statement of fact. The Court of Appeals took this up in a case strikingly similar to the one at bar.
It's just your opinion, man.
Did we ever read the fact pattern of the suit?
No one reads anything, man.
So I'm no one to you. Court lister. Nice, good one. Court listener. Nice. Fuck. Stop going on court listener. You guys are liking the site.
Stop.
No, you stop.
Hammer time.
Boom. District Court D, Delaware.
God, I'm never lucky, man.
New chat message. Hi, welcome to findlaw.com. I'm a real person. I can help coordinate consultation with an attorney. Say hi to begin. Is that really a real person? No! I didn't mean to do it. Okay.
Would they lie?
True. Background. Okay, allegedly they were private figures who were married to one another. According to the Bensons, on or about April 2nd, 2023, Guerrero published a video on TikTok. Bensons alleged that in the video they made numerous defamatory statements about them, including statements of Guerrero and others were sexually assaulted by Chris while on a cruise in 2020. Vicky knew that Guerrero was sexually assaulted but not care. Vicky carried sexual assault as a mistake. Vicky told Guerrero it wasn't her problem. Guerrero had been sexually assaulted. Benson's also alleged that Guerrero, through the TikTok video, had knowingly, maliciously, or negligently published to third parties, false and wrong. unambiguous statements that Chris is actually a soldier. According to the Bensons, there's false statements about Chris that he had allegedly committed a criminal offense constituted defamation per se, which are not further as a result of Guido's false statement. Chris alleged he suffered mental anguish, blah, 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 blah. Benson alleged a statement about Chris also directly and approximately caused injury to Chris, which resulted in special damages, including harm to his earning capacity, loss of income, and loss of employment. And they alleged that Chris was entitled to exemplary damages because Guido had acted with actual malice in making her blah, blah, blah. As to Vicky, the Bensons alleged Guido made false statements about Vicky. Answer: generally denying the allegations in the Bensons' petition and asserting various affirmative defenses. Guido also moved to dismiss the Bensons' defamation claims against her under the TCPA, arguing that the trial court should dismiss Bensons' claims because they were based on or in response to her exercise of free speech. Specifically, Guido asserted that Bensons' claims that she defamed Chris by stating that she and others sexually assaulted him while on a cruise when were accusations of criminal conduct, unless a statement regarding matter of public concern for the purposes of the TCPA, as were her claims, or as were sorry, the videos about. Asserted that the Bensons did not have clear and specific evidence to make a prima facie case for each essential element of the defamation case required to survive a motion to dismiss under the TCPA requested attorney's fees. So that they did not dispute that there were claims for defamation per se or subject to the TCPA, but as to the other alleged defamatory statements purportedly made by law, they holy shit. At the hearing on Guerrero's TCPA motion, the trial court viewed her TikTok video in which she stated the following. So I think it's time. I feel I need to make this for myself. I think I need to make it for the miscommunication that I receive from a lot of fans and people in general. So I'm going to go ahead and just start because the story going so in depth. I'm just going to my family is well known, obviously, blah, blah, blah. I need to serve it. So a lot of people ask me if I talk to my mom and sister. The answer is no, blah, 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 blah. I'm tired of crying. Come to an right before COVID. There was a cruise that my family had went on, and basically on this cruise, I got sexually assaulted. And the unfortunate part is that this was by my stepdad. Yeah, it was by my stepdad. And was I the only one? No, that's not my business to put their story out there, but it happened to me. And the fact that I protected somebody that doesn't clearly give a shit about me is beyond me. But hey, you know, growth, maturity, right? There's basically fast forward, maybe like the following year, when I got injured in my knee, my mom was only out here in Houston, blah, 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 blah. And it's been fucking hard. It's kind of crazy, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, you.
My journey. After the hearing, the trial court granted Guido's motion to dismiss, ordered the Benson's defamation claims against them be dismissed with prejudice, and Guido was entitled to an award of court costs. Damn. In their first and second issues, Benson's argued that the trial court erred in granting Guido's motion to dismiss because TPCA did not apply to Vicky's defamation claim. We've reviewed de novo the trial court's ruling on a TPCA motion, deciding if a legal action should be dismissed under the TPCA. We consider the pleadings evidence a court can consider under Texas Rule of Civil Procedure and supporting opening allegations. Basically, we review the pleadings evidence line it's a procedure for the expedited dismissal of retaliatory lawsuits that seek to intimidate or silence as a matter of public concern. The purpose is identifying and summarily dispose of lawsuits and only to chill first matter of not to dismiss them.
You want to go to the Happy Turtle?
Yeah, let's go. To be entitled to dismissal under the TCPA, movement has the initial burden to demonstrate that a legal action is based on or in response to the movement's exercise of the right to petition, Association of Free Speech, If the movement's their initial burden, then the burden shifts to the non-movements to establish by clear and specific evidence a prima facie case for each essential element. The non-movements may satisfy their burden of establishing a prima facie case. It's a matter of law. This burden is not onerous, although conclusory statements do not. The non-movement establishes a prima facie case. The DCPA still allows dismissal if the movement establishes an affirmative grounds or other defense on which the movement is entitled to judgment as a matter of law. Okay, public concern. In a portion of their first issue, the Bensons argued that the trial court erred in granting Guido's motion to dismiss certain of Vicky's defamation claims against because RTP only applies to wrong. Estimates about Vicky's being a bad V's mother did not constitute communication made in connection with a matter of public concern, as Vicky was not a public figure. It's noted above, the TPA allows for the oh my god. It's just necessary that Vicky's defamation claims. No. The Bensons in their brief assert that Vicky's audience was not substantial enough to give Vicky public figure or celebrity status, but they do not set any authority that sets a substantial audience threshold. Fuck, I might chat in 7 minutes. I would need to read about how this TCPA is applied, because that sounds like that's what they dismissed us under. And since argued the trial court erred in granting the motion to dismiss as to all of their defamation claims because they established by clear and specific evidence a prima facie case, blah, blah, blah. As noted above, once a movement meets their initial burden of understanding the legal action based on the non-movements, but established by clear and specific evidence prima facie case for each essential element. Defamation claim requires a plaintiff to prove the publication of a false statement of fact that was defamatory about the plaintiff with the requisite degree of fault, and in some cases damages. Presume certain category. In a briefing, they assert that they established prima facie for each of the claims of defamation by specific evidence, as Chris's defamation per se based on this. That she got sexual assault. Benson argued this statement is defamatory per se because, according to the text penal code, a person commits offense, sexual assault, blah, 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 blah. It's commonly understood as merely, oh. In her reply in support of her motion to dismiss, Guerrero asserted that her statement about Chris was not defamatory per se because sexual assault is commonly understood as merely touching someone in a sexual way when they do not want you to. But the fact that a term may have multiple meanings does not factor into our analysis at this stage. Plenty of a statement is capable of at least one defamatory and at least one non-defamatory meaning. It is for the jury to determine whether the defamatory sense was one conveyed. Okay. In reviewing whether Chris's defamation claim survived a TCPA challenge, trial court was required only to consider Chris denied sexually assaulting them on the 20th. Chris also denied Guido's statement in her declaration of motion to search when she forced his hand. In her reply, asserted that Chris denials were conclusory and thus did not constitute the clearance of evidence required to survive a TCPA. Party claims an event occurred and the other party claims it did not. A plaintiff's denial can satisfy his TCPA burden to present prima facie evidence of falsity. Here, Chris denied having committed the specific acts alleged and published by Guerrero. His statements, if uncontested, would be sufficient as a matter of law to establish that he did not commit those acts. It's also argued in her reply in support of her motion to dismiss the trial court should dismiss Chris's defamation case because she establishes truth as an affirmative defense of the claim, but in defamation cases involving matters of public concern, the burden is upon the plaintiff to prove falsity, not upon the defendant to prove truth. Because Chris met his burden of establishing a professional case of defamation per se, and Guerrero did not establish a valid affirmative defense, we hold that the trial court erred in granting this. Okay. These defamation claims continue to allege that started getting messages accusing her of not reaching out to her mother. Fuck, 4 minutes. Hold on. I'm almost here. And viewed in that context, part of Guerrero's description of how she became estranged from Vicky and how she felt about it, even if Vicky were correct that certain statements which had purportedly recounted what Vicky had said to her involved objectively verifiable facts. Viewing the TikTok video as a whole shows that Guerrero shared her personal viewpoint, i.e. her own emotional truth, and not purported fact. In the informal and intimate setting of the video, Guerrero described her emotional journey and expressed her sadness about being estranged from her family. Her recollections about the conversation with Vicky and how they led to Guerrero's feelings of abandonment were no more than opinion masquerading as fact. Oh, okay.
Shrimp blaz.
She'd been living with the Bensons. After the cruise, she decided to live with them because the COVID-19 pandemic worked hard to move out of their home and into an apartment after which she tried to talk with Vicky about how uncomfortable she was with Chris. But Vicky was less than sympathetic and responsible that she perceived Guerrero's lack of respect for Chris as a way of disrespect to her and her relationship. And Guerrero said that Vicky had blocked her telephone calls, and Guerrero described her sadness about not having spoken with her mother for more than 2 years. She became obviously emotional for once by recording the TikTok video expressing her unhappiness about the estrangement with her mother and her hurt for feeling like her mother did not protect her. And the statements that Vicky alleged were defamatory when viewed in context, part of Guerrero's description of how she became estranged and how she felt about it. Even if Vicky were correct that certain statements in which Guerrero reportedly recounted what Vicky had said to her involved objectively verifiable facts, being the video as a whole shows her personal viewpoint of her emotional truth and not purported fact. Oh, so the Guerrero person is, when she talks about sexual assault, she's explaining what she says Vicky said to her. Benson's allegedly, including statements. He knew that Guerrero had been sexually assaulted and didn't care. I don't know. Okay, whatever. This is a little bit messier than the whatever thing. Okay, sorry. Good, get fucked. I'm glad we wasted all day with this. Hell yeah.
Yeah, waste our time.
Problem?
I mean, what else would we have done? You know what I'm saying?
Bang your mom? Wait, one more meme?
No.
June 29th.
I got a new PC after I moved to this house because my last PC got giga super mega ultra infected with a hacker virus. I'm not even joking. And I was like, you know what? I was just gonna replace my hard drive, but then Starforge was like, nah, just give us that one and we'll trade it out. So, oh yeah, it was awful. Okay, let me sign in. I don't remember my Roblox account. I just make a new one, I think, too.
Emiru, have you played Death's Door?
I have not. Anarchy, thank you for the... My password is incorrect. Oh no. I've been locked out of my Roblox account.
Wait, how many fucking times does your PC shit get hacked? Wait, what? Hold on a sec.
Well, my PC was actually compromised, so I've been dealing with that, but everything's fine, so it's all good now. And then my capture card wasn't working after like all the restarts and stuff, but it's fine now. Everything's fine. Yo, Butters, thanks for 21 months. Did they leak the league logs? I don't have league logs. I've said this before, I don't have any. Oh my god, bro, my brain does not work when the vacuum is going. I can't think. Yo, Kude, thank you for 27 months. I don't have any! I actually don't have any.
Like Destiny's League
thank you
logs?
for the gift sub. Thank you, thank you.
Oh, I will.
I was gonna turn the music up so I can't hear it.
I could play some League right now, actually.
I can't hear it anymore! I'm free! Yo, Rain Check, thanks for the 10 months. Guy named Fat, thanks for the sub. Oh, I can hear it again. Whatever. Whatever.
Based. Okay. I love you. Be careful. I'm gonna go chat with this guy.
Right.
Destiny. Finished abundance. Ironic that when mRNA research started, it was the type of thing Rogan types should hail. Only after it's successful, they critique it as mainstream science. Oh. That was just because I got caught up in the, whole COVID stuff. Oh my god, bro. This was crazy.
Okay, no, what it did, just to be clear, what it did said it was probably an amalgamation of true emails. So the information when it was
This was so wild.
true, but the actual email itself was put together.
Hold on. I need to know.
Nonetheless,
Wait. Do you actually believe the statement that you just said?
Yes, I do.
You think that you can cobble together random statements from other emails and that the email you put together from that is true afterward? Are you actually that f***ing stupid? You're really saying that? That's the argument.
No.
Hold on. Wait. Link me the thing and we'll read the IC assessment. And then if you want to roll with that argument, you can. That's
so crazy.
Probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say in my entire life.
I think it is.
Link to like a 22-page report that Tulsi released and also hope that nobody would read the entire thing. But apparently you didn't either. But we can go through that if you want.
No,
Yeah.
I read the entire thing.
Okay.
I read the entire thing. Oh shit, that's the wrong one. Oh shit. Nonetheless, we'll get to this. I
No,
promise.
no, wait.
No, wait. I just want to line of questioning, then we can get to this.
You're going to build a line of questioning off of a fake email, off a fabricated email. It does matter. It's fake. The whole point is to make you think the theory that you're about to say. How are you so stupid? You're that easy to control? What the?
If you would stop spreading out, I would tell you. The only point that I'm trying to make here, let's assume it's 100% fake. The Russia invented this whole thing. And yeah, did our intelligence agents get access to what Russia was claiming to have?
No, I don't think they did.
Yes, then how would they know that this fake email existed?
The reason why they know that this fake email existed is because when they did a search of the entire database of all emails sent, one, they interviewed every single person as part of the organization. Nobody had an awareness of this email being sent. Two, they couldn't find the original email sent or received on any inbox. And three, they were able to match whole sentences from the email to other emails that were in the Outlook system or whatever. So they assessed, oh, this email is probably a fabricated email. There were other fabricated emails as well.
Here's the fake email, right? Hey, see it? Fake email, right? It's fake. I made it up. It's fake.
Bro. I'm so sorry. Hold on one second. What was this? To
begin on that, the president yesterday, you've inferred that the former president helped lead a coup. Based on what you now see, do Do you believe President Obama is guilty of treason?
I'm leaving the criminal charges to the Department of Justice. I am not an attorney, but as I've said previously, when you look at the intent behind creating a fake manufactured intelligence document that directly contradicts multiple assessments that were created by the intelligence community, the expressed intent and what followed afterward can only be described as a years-long coup and a treasonous conspiracy.
This was all cringe as fuck. All right, what do we got? What is this?
This is like, how many years do you think I need to be doing this for you to assume that this is like, you know, appropriate? If 13 is not enough, then I don't think you're ever going to say that my opinion is worth a damn, which is fine. You can just click out. Perhaps it's not my credentials that you are calling into question. It's that you don't like the things that you're hearing from me. So you're calling into question the credentials. Not a lot of people that do political commentary of this sort, especially on the internet, that have even remotely the credentials that I have, ironically enough. Something that I don't usually bring up.
What the fuck are his credentials? That he has a communications degree or whatever from Rutgers?
Unlike my counterparts in this space, I at least graduated with a political science degree.
I also like that, and it's whatever, I understand, because they have no values and no principles. But I like that sometimes they like to present themselves as like the working man or something, and then they'll like shit on me because I had to quit school because I was working full-time, like at a service job, and I couldn't do school and work full-time because I didn't have mommy and daddy to pay my way through college. And that's like an attack against me, I guess. Okay, chief.
And a communication double major, ironically enough, again. Many of the people, especially on the opposing side, did not even graduate from college or ever graduate with a degree of this sort. They don't even...
Like, bruh, it's an undergrad. It sounds like a BA undergrad. What do you... This is like what you're going to beat me over the head with? Really, bruh? We're like in our 30s, bro. Are you okay? Like, what?
Try to make it seem like they know what they're talking about. Oftentimes they will say things like, who needs reading anyway? I can just use my imagination. Do you have
Oh, I think that's an Asmongold hit, right?
any qualification when you got no subs in hours? True. Please subscribe to the Piker Broadcasting Service, the People's Broadcasting Service. It's the only way to support independent media, by subscribing. No ads. Subscribe to the Piker Broadcasting Service for tomorrow's news today.
Wait! Give me the clip. You guys know what it is. Wait, give me a downloadable video. Ooh, that's getting tweeted out. Whoo! You know what I'm talking about. Where is it? Hold on. No. Can you name a single book? Name one female. Can you name one book?
I'm not sure I want to make a deal. I just finished the job. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm the second largest political commentator on this platform.
Ooh, you know that hurts for him. He has to say that. Ooh.
We're on, one of the largest in North America, the largest left content creator, the largest left political commentator on the independent media side. Here's the largest on this platform. He just happens to be right wing. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Did you ever read Atlas Shrugged? No, I don't really read books. It's a waste of time. I only
Thank you,
I
Drew.
just invent my own narratives in my mind, and I just build everything off of my own fantasies.
I know he's trying to be sarcastic, but it is quite literally what he does.
I just make everything up.
You're class 4 obese.
Yeah.
The problem is you can't joke about this when you have also said it sincerely in the past. And we've also heard your commentary. You know, dude likes sarcasm skills. No, I know he's trying to like say this sarcastically, but he's also said it sincerely. You know what I mean? If you've said it sincerely in the past, you can't just sarcastically claim it now, because it just comes across as you saying it sincerely. Also, for you to say this sarcastically, you would also had to have, you know, shown at other times that you know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, here is him saying it sincerely and not with a shred of irony or sarcasm. Here it
You
is.
openly admitted you never do research or read articles outside of Twitter. How can you shamelessly tell others to read more? I don't need to understand whatever article you want me to read. All I need to understand is human psychology and incentives. And incentives and human psychology are the deciding factors of how people will behave. I don't need to read your little special book or your Wikipedia article or anything else besides that. None of that stuff matters. What matters fundamentally is how do people act, how do people think, and how do people respond to incentives. If you can understand that, then nothing else matters.
He's a Jiangist. Yeah, he's a Professor Jiangist. Professor Chung. Yeah, he also uses a lot of grok to fill the holes that he has, I guess, in his brain.
Which is unironically, unfortunately, more research than Hasan even does. bro, they fight through Twitter tabs of each other's clips. True. What is this?
Clinton was a rapist because I believe. I mean, do a lot of the people, and I'm not talking about the
July 2026.
The people on the left. I'm talking about like the center on this point. Like, do they believe Tara Reid? Because I did. I always did. Right. Like, do they believe that Bill Clinton was a rapist? Because I believe he was too. It'd be nice to like have actual full accounting on this. I think it'd be a good occasion. Maybe.
Bill Clinton was a rapist? Is this about Monica Lewinsky or Epstein?
Hannah wants to say, does she believe Tara Reid?
Yeah, and I think I said this on the reckoning yesterday as well.
Well, and when Joe Biden was a senator in the early 90s, he raped Tara Reid. I know that is the accusation, indeed.
I think that, to be honest, guys, there's been some holes poked in that story.
Yes, I mean, Tara Reid has some serious credibility issues, it seems to me. But do you think it'll become an issue again for the Democrats in 2024? I don't think so, no.
If Trump wins again, I could see a similar sort of cultural type of reckoning playing itself out.
Oh, with Trump?
Yeah, Trump wins again. Is that what the question was?
No, I think it was, do you think Tara Reid will become an issue for the Democrats in 2024?
I said like, at the time, like, I unfortunately, I think the calculus is you need more than one accuser for one of these guys. Like, I think like, even if Tara Reid, like, I haven't followed that super closely, but like, I don't think people are going to believe one person, which is a horrible thing, like, I think, but just generically, I don't think it will be if it's just Tara Reid again.
And she has credibility issues.
Wait, I don't.
I mean, do a lot of the people, and I'm not talking about like the people on the left. I'm talking about like the center on this point. Like, do they believe Tara Reid? Because I did. I always did.
Right.
Like, do they believe that Bill Clinton was a rapist? Because I believe he was too. It'd be nice to like have actual full accounting on this. I think it'd be a good occasion. Maybe Hannah wants to say, does she believe Tara Reid?
Yeah, and I think I said this on the reckoning yesterday as well.
Well, and when Joe Biden was...
Why are they pretend? I don't even know. Don't know. Okay. I don't even understand what the point is. What is this tweet? Is this a joke? P.S. Chinese don't use soy sauce. That's Japanese. What?
We all understand stan culture. We've talked extensively about... I think we all understand stan culture. We've talked extensively about like the unhealthy nature of it and stuff like that. But I think there's the opposing side of that as well, which is like hater culture, I guess, if you want to call it that. It's the same... It's the somehow even less healthy side of parasocialism, where there are a lot of people who just like develop anti-fandoms, and it becomes a fandom in and of itself. And unfortunately, it stops them from making any sort of like reasonable analysis.
Yeah.
And
analysis, not the analysis.
In most circumstances, it turns into borderline cyber stalking. From my perspective, if there's a person I don't like, I don't spend a good deal of time like looking at what they're up to. I'll give you an example, like Asmongold, right? With Asmongold, people put a lot of the stuff that he says in front of me, but I'm not like going to, you know, Asmongold hater communities and just like sitting around and being like, oh, what did he do next?
You are an Asmongold hater community.
And for the most part, terrible example, Lamau. No, I'm telling you. Like, I'm not like actively watching Asmongold every day to find shit that I can say about Asmongold. It seems that a majority of D's community now believes that you raped a child at a brothel in Germany and they're spreading that lie all over the internet. Dog. None of them believe that. They openly and knowingly are lying about it. There's literally a video of them admitting on the record that they know it's not true, but they can heavily imply it. And also, they've been doing that for like the last 7 years.
7 years? Really?
It's just, you have to understand something.
Yeah.
The whole point is when Destiny is credibly accused, and not even credibly accused, Destiny's outed.
Outed.
Adjudicated. You know, I think they actually believe it now. They're that fucking insane. No, they don't. It's a cult. It's a cult that operates as a smear machine.
Oh.
Okay? The only reason why Destiny is doing that over and over again is because he was outed in a court case for the distribution of revenge pornography to have maintained and procured child sexual abuse material. So whenever he's actually hit with something,
how can he say in one breath, I don't know anything about anything, I don't follow any of this shit, I don't know, and then he's like fucking quoting my court docs.
Cult that operates as a smear.
Like, this isn't reported anywhere else on the internet. It's not like any other large YouTubers or anybody's covering this, right? Like, somebody has to be giving a hyper specific information about this, or he's seeking it out.
Machine. Okay. The only reason why Destiny is doing that over and over again is because he was out in a court case for the distribution of revenge pornography to have maintained and procured child sexual abuse material. So whenever he's actually hit with something, very specific, he quickly turns around and tries to deflect the attention by saying, Hasan has done this too. Okay? That's it. some schizophrenic people in his community that do legitimately believe it because it's like a cult. Brother, my best man has not spoken to me personally for over a year now because of this. They are that deep into it. That's fucking nuts. I know you don't like suing, but this is why some people do it, and it's justified. If you don't take care of it, it just grows and people's lives get traction.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, even the brothel is projection. He literally went to an illegal brothel.
And he's got the clips up. He loves playing this one. Wait, is this an old thing? July 9th. Nope. Okay, yeah.
That the woman that he had sex with was like, or got, paid for the services was like sex traffic. This is his own statement. To be fair, I don't talk to my brother anymore because Destiny convinced him to work for JNF. Jesus Christ.
What is JNF?
The cult is also completely encompasses a person's entire identity. They spend all day in Discord, offline chat, etc. Leaving behind their entire identity. Yeah.
Jewish National Federation? No shot. Wait, what?
I guess the only positive is that...
Wait,
Jesus
what?
Christ. The cult is also completely encompasses a person's entire identity. They spend all day in Discord, offline chat, etc. Leaving behind their entire identity. Yeah. I guess the only positive is that their form of internet radicalization is just like limited to following the whims of this weird cult leader instead of just like going down the Order of Nine Angles route and becoming like a school shooter. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of these people are very vulnerable and they could have just as easily found the wrong Roblox server or something and became like straight up school shooters, right? I guess the closest to that is literally the Jewish National Fund as far as like joining a settler.
Like, he doesn't even get good engagement on these tweets, but he's still... Why is he replying to the digital ground game people? Jesus. Fuck! Why did I close that whole thing? God damn it.
We all understand. Like, I'm not like... This is his own statement. To be fair, I don't talk to my brother anymore because Destiny convinced him to work for JNF, this weird cult leader, instead of just like going down the order. People are very vulnerable and they could have just as easily found the wrong Roblox server or something and became like straight.
Like, wasn't it the guy that Hasan got that tour on stream with, and then the next day he got arrested for calling in bomb threats to like 12 different places?
Yep, school shooters, right? I guess the closest to that is literally the Jewish National Fund as far as like joining a settler, a community that actively works to settle stolen Palestinian territory. Yeah, Jewish National Fund is JNF. They sell stolen West Bank land to settlers. Why does the secular...
I convinced somebody to work for the Jewish National Fund. Really?
Clear Talk Discord hate the mention of your name? I don't know. I love Kyle. We're homies. So I don't know. I don't know why his Discord would not like me. I mean, who cares?
Talking about this. What is this?
Who perfectly legitimately like to go and shoot clay pigeons, who like to go and shoot game, who like to go and hunt. Effectively, they're trying to make that very difficult through the licensing laws for guns. As you probably know, they banned handguns.
The 90s, right?
In the late 90s, because there was a murder up in Dunblane.
One murder.
One murder. So everybody, my father used to shoot pistols for Oxford University, and he's dead now, bless him, but he had, all his pistols were taken away. The pistols he used to shoot with at Oxford University. I mean, we now have a society which needs radical change.
The Dunblane massacre was 16 people killed. Oh, 18 if you include him killing himself. Kind of weird. Okay, maybe this tomorrow. Fuck. Is this person actually Dropsite News, a social media guy? What the hell is going on over there? Of Darkness. Fuck, he deleted his tweet. What was it? If a woman I was casually hooking up with texted me at night about how she needed a breast massage, yes, I might have the crazy idea she wants to hook up. Oh. Political strategist Morris Katz was privately promoting Graham Plattner as a future presidential candidate as soon as 2028 if he won the main Senate race. Oh, what, and he would, like, quit? Okay.
Jesus.
Christ.
That's what Obama did, right?
Did he?
I'm 90% sure, yeah.
Oh, well, if Mutin says so. Good friend of the stream, genius economist. Gary?
So my proposal is a 2% tax on wealth.
Up with the, listen, man, I made my hundreds of millions being a trader, and I'm just here to tell you the facts, and I don't care. You can... Okay.
Why is he bullying him?
So my proposal is...
Why not? Okay. All right, last small video, and then I got another one. Hold on, what is this? One more Hasan slapper.
The best example I can give what made me aware of his tendency was his reaction to the annexation of Crimea, identical to Barack Obama's, by the way. Barack Hussein Obama. I'm willing to bet this person loves Barack Hussein Obama. And his comments leading up to and immediately after the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, the use of the lens is what caused him so seriously the miss with regards to Russia invading Ukraine. My perspective on Russia's invasion of Ukraine was identical to Zelensky's perspective and Ukrainians' perspective. They too did not believe that Russia would do such an unbelievably insane and violent thing. He later...
That was Hasan's perspective?
Yep.
He admitted he was wrong, but his reason for why he was wrong is paraphrased. I thought Russia was going to be more rational, but I guess this kind of makes sense when you look at the aggressive expansion of NATO and the U.S. The problem here is that NATO expansion is not why Russia annexed Crimea and invaded the rest of Ukraine. It literally is.
Oh, okay.
Zelensky literally begged people to stop saying an invasion was coming. Yeah. NATO not existing would not have made it so that Russia would not be expansionist. It would just mean that Russia's expansionism would be unopposed. A lot of the drive for people to join NATO is not because the U.S. aggressively forcing them to do so. It's because those nations are sitting too close to imperialist Russia and want to protect themselves.
True.
It's possible for the U.S. to both be on the
He's actually reading a... Oh, this is a subreddit called...
You thought he'd read an article? Good one.
Oh, is this just the politics subreddit? He's just reading a comment here? Okay.
Right side of something as rare it is, it's also possible for two imperialist powers who are both bad to be in opposition because of what their goals are. Wait, what? So you do agree with me? What the fuck? What? It's also possible for people to join NATO is not because the U.S. aggressively forcing them to do so. It's because those nations are sitting too close to imperialist Russia and want to protect themselves. It's possible for the U.S. to both be on the right side of something as rare it is. It's also possible for two imperialist powers who are both bad to be in opposition because of what their goals are. Wait, what? So you do agree with me?
How is that him agreeing with you? But what?
What the fuck? This dude literally took the long way home. I mean, he doesn't... I don't agree with the NATO expansion part, but... Yeah, his final conclusion is like, yeah, America found itself on the right side, morally, of a conflict for the worst possible reasons. That's my position. So many of these motherfuckers literally... will be like, I actually don't like Hasan because he's pro-Russia. And then they will literally talk through their perspective.
Okay.
There's also a blanketing of like all irredentist action or all action that Russia has taken with what it's currently doing. Okay. There's a significant difference between the annexation of Crimea. You might have a disagreement with it. I think it's perfectly valid to have a disagreement with the annexation of any fucking territory that doesn't belong to you.
What?
I don't think it's the appropriate thing for Russia to do. I think it was illegal. Okay? But if you can't see the difference between the annexation of Crimea, which was allowed by the Barack Obama administration, ironically enough.
Allowed?
Versus what the Russian irredentist action in eastern Ukraine looks like, I don't know what to tell you. That's a very different situation. And once George W. Bush, that fucking demon, on his way out, decided to come out and say we should bring Georgia and Ukraine into NATO, we should start those conversations. Of course, it was shortly thereafter that Vladimir Putin was like, all right, well, I have to take a piece of fucking territory from Georgia to ensure that no such NATO expansion ever exists, and I have to take a piece of fucking. I have to make sure that I, the Crimean base, Sevastopol, is still in Russian hands. He also used in his favor the demographic makeup of the Crimean population, which had been Russified long before Vladimir Putin ever came to control the Russian Federation, which didn't even exist when Crimea was being fucking Russified anyway. So, what are you to do in that situation? Like, well, you're presenting a through line between a time period where fucking Ukraine was also a part of the USSR to Vladimir Putin. You're making it seem like he Russified Crimea.
Okay. Quick history refresher. Sorry.
They think the Crimea River clip is Russian exceptionalism. I know, it's so funny. Would they always be like, oh, you said Crimea River? It's like, big dog. Big dog. My position on this, albeit sometimes a humorous quip where I say Crimea belongs to the Tatars and therefore it's Turkish territory first and foremost, is utterly immaterial to what has already taken place. Okay? And it's always people who are pro greater Israel project that try to go, oh, it's hypocritical. You think I have an ownership stake in the same way that you feel an ownership stake in the greater Israel project? So annexation of Crimea and the war in Donbass were non-invasions. Got it. Donbass is different than Crimea, and Crimea is an annexation that is, in my opinion, justifiable. It is a part of Russia.
Oh, that sounds a little bit different than what he says he said, no? Did I miss that?
Is, in my opinion, justifiable. It is a part of Russia.
Oh, because it's part of the Tatar from the Turkey people. That's what he's about to say, I think. And so Turkey could justifiably...
Why does he say Russia, though?
Well, I don't think he's going to say Turkey after that.
In my opinion, justifiable. It is a part of Russia, okay?
Oh.
You might not believe it. The people of Crimea agree with it. So I don't give a fuck. I don't care about what... In that circumstance, NATO is 1,000% an aggressor outside fucking force, okay? Russia is not. Russia annexing its own fucking territory that it's had, that its own territory full of its own fucking people is not the same as NATO being like, we're going to turn your country into a fucking base and put literal fucking military bases and rockets into your country. Throw the question marks all you want. I don't give a fuck about the Ukrainian constitution. I don't give a fuck about the Ukrainian like border sovereignty that some of you dumbasses are fucking talking about like you're like a 3%er but for Ukraine, okay? It's so stupid. Crimea is not the same as Kiev, however. Crimea is not the same as the rest of Ukraine, however. Eastern Ukrainian territories have a lot of fucking Russian people living in them because Ukraine, and just like Crimea and much of the rest of the fucking country, was a part of Russia, was a part of the USSR until not that long ago, okay?
What happened?
People's parents were alive back then. So obviously, there's a lot of fucking Russian people living there. So if you have, but like, you feeling bad about the Crimean annexation does not change the reality of the Crimean annexation being a completely justifiable fucking act.
Now it's completely justifiable.
By the Russian government, okay? So that's it. That's fine. And Hitler invaded countries based on Germanic ties.
Oh my God, I remember this one.
So that's it. That's fine. And Hitler invaded countries based on Germanic ties at first. Yeah, dude. Talk to me when he's fucking throwing Ukrainians in a fucking... What are you talking about? Talk to me when he's throwing Ukrainians at a concentration camp, okay? Hitler wasn't fucking bad because he decided to invade Austria. He was bad because he was fucking killing Jews, okay? That was the problem. He wasn't like, oh yeah, we're gonna fucking annex territory with like Germanic people in it. That wasn't the main problem with Hitler. I think. That was like maybe
he hedged at the end at least.
Down the line. You call Crimea? I call it a part of Russian territory, bitch. That's what I call Crimea. I call it Crimea River, a Russian river. Russia's historic access into the Black Sea, Crimea, that's like historically, fucking ethnically all Russian. Look like Tim Pool after that 49 state landslide? Yeah? I would look like Tim Pool after that 49 state landslide L if, you know, there was a bombing, active bombing currently happening on Kiev and like Ukrainians were being murdered left and right at this moment.
Jesus.
Good
That's your
news.
man's? And he's on what? He's on Twitch?
On Twitch.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Actually, and this is true. You know what? Wait.
Waiting.
We shouldn't let him say that Ukraine was ever part of the USSR, because it was like one of those like autonomous, semi-autonomous republics, right? What we should make him say is, you mean Ukraine was part of the Russian Empire, right? You meant the Empire, right? That's what you're talking about.
Empire.
Right? That's what you were talking about, right? You mean the Empire, right? Hello? Hold on.
Holding.
If anyone has the skill to dig up the clip of Hasan saying people are going to start thinking I'm taking money from Russia, then holy fuck, 21. Based. 21. Really? Wait, what the fuck is this meme? Wait a minute, why does Aiden UG's Discord server know how to set up Twitter bots? Apparently it's so easy that even Doofus can do it. Claude bot. I'm going to set this up over the weekend. We should all do it. The Snark War will be fought by machines.
I love the machines.
Me too.
Name one machine.
I can name 20 machines. Emiru's computer.
Topical.
Okay. Apparently the Pragmatic Paper people made a video about some of their articles. We might watch this. Let's see.
My name is Eden, an organizer
The third founding project.
with Digital Ground Game, and the Pragmatic Papers and I are launching the third founding project. Prior to the launch of this project, I had conversations about each piece included in it. You'll hear some of those conversations with Jeff and Rory with the No Cap Fund on uncapping the House, Akinwale on reforming the filibuster, Mike on court reform, and Kafka discussing my pieces on an accountability agenda and reforming the federal rulemaking process. So,
Jesus.
I guess the first thing is, when you were on the call with Destiny, like a couple weeks ago, you mentioned that the country actually needs like a third founding on that call. And I was just curious, where did that language come from exactly? Because I haven't heard that language other than kind of the piece that I wrote really recently. It's kind of odd.
So I have, I've been, I got heavy into politics like, I don't know, like 5 years ago, and I did it through history. I basically like read chronologically American history through biographies of our founders, and then through all the presidents all the way up. I've made it through Bill Clinton so far. Around the time I read the Civil War and I read about the second founding, I read Eric Foner's book on Reconstruction, and then he's got a book actually called The Second Founding.
One thing I'm kind of curious about is that the one thing that I guess is both attractive and unattractive about uncapping the House is that on the one hand, it's really nice. It's kind of it's a very tangible yes or no type thing. It's like either you kind of manage to get the votes and you've uncapped the House, and then like that mechanism kind of clicks into place. Are there other measures that are kind of directionally?
Which one did we talk to? We only talked to one of the guys from No Cap, right? Was it Jeff?
Alleviate some of the like the same policy ills that would be moving in a good direction. That would also, you think, be progressive.
So, I mean, I think at its core, uncapping the House is, it's about representation, and part of representation is we want a Congress that functions and does its job. And this is something that's preventing that from happening. There's a document put out by the Brennan Center just last week that Jeff and I have been talking about a lot that proposes 8 congressional reforms, and it's actually a point that they make in the document that uncapping the House will work best, in conjunction with some other reforms. And they touch on the same things that Jeff was talking about earlier. I mean, one of those is campaign finance reform, the manner in which we elect people if you're going to have these astronomical sums of money and no one knows where they come from.
Wait. This guy wants to drag him in first.
Drag him.
All right, what's up? Foliage. He is deafenaged.
You're muted.
Well, he's deafened, so he can't hear you.
What an idiot.
He can't hear you saying that he's muted, you fucking idiot. He'll come back.
You're oftentimes fixing the outcome, from the beginning. One of the things that gets brought up a lot in the context of conversations about uncapping the House is also the concept of proportional representation. Some people are likewise very passionate about that. I think that one is, as I was talking about earlier, a little bit more abstract and difficult for people to understand, but it is part of the conversation. There are things to try to combat partisan gerrymandering, as we were talking about. I mean, other things that are part of this conversation are things like age limits, term limits.
Increasing of the staffing and the kind of the power of House
Oh,
offices.
sorry. I didn't realize. I thought you were watching the video.
Oh, hi. What's up?
Doing great. Shilling for the Pragmatic Papers. I'd love you to continue that video. First thing, I'm going to pop into the side chat. Hey, Mr. Moon as well.
Are you going to be at LibCon?
No.
I am not, sadly. I'm not able to make it, but I know a ton of the people who are going, and it'll be very cool. Oh, cannot load the side chat. I will send this.
Just damn him.
Yeah.
Damn your mom. Got him.
Okay. This is the July midterm report, so unrelated to the third founding, but it came out at the same time, so I want to make sure that it gets
talked about. For this one, it is going over North Carolina and Nebraska, so a bit more into red country, and kind of going over, some exciting things about the North Carolina Senate candidate, who's running really strong, and I think is a good model that we should definitely look to for lessons beyond just all of the sloppy lists. So, of a way to run effectively as Democrats. Also, some background into the shenanigans around Nebraska. Wait, was it? Nebraska, yes. Where Republicans tried to get in the way of us not having getting out of the way of the independent candidate who's not planning on coalitioning with either the Democrats or Republicans in the Senate.
Okay.
And so it kind of goes into all that narrative. So should be, it was a pretty good read when I read it. The other thing, if you could link it in the chat, is the actual volume to the written product for the third founding project, which has a nice forward by our editor, Kara, and then also links to all of the individual pieces that were included in it. This video that you're listening to right now is a conversation that I had with each of the authors, snippets of each of the conversations I had with the authors like a couple weeks before release, an editorial conversation. I think one kind of big idea of this project is that, when we look at, various liberals, that we might have different ideas about what the future might look like. We might have different predispositions. So some of us might, in the divide where, from Hutch to you to other people, that people might have different ideas. But what the third founding project is aiming to do is to shift the conversation to mechanisms that we can all get behind as liberal and useful. And then it comes down to, okay, we can all sign up for the third founding project. And then when we actually get power, when we push for as much power as we can, then we can have that inter-party fight over, okay, how much power do we have? What is the political climate? How much of a trade-off makes sense between our liberal priorities and the political realities? So.
Okay.
So that's the goal. So great. I'm going to hop off and you can keep watching. Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Directional thing that might be use. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, just briefly.
Yeah, so, that's really interesting because there's two things there that I would bring up. Really fabulous book, if you haven't read it, is The Broken Branch by Thomas Mann and Norm Ornstein. And Norm, they were both with AEI at one time. I don't think that they are anymore, but Norm Ornstein has also written about, uncapping the House specifically, but, they kind of go through the institutional history of Congress. And so, one thing is that Congress used to regularly have modernization committees. Like, they recognized that the nation was rapidly changing, and they would update their committee structure to account for that. And now we don't really do that. The last significant Congressional Modernization Act was in the 1970s. And so, we've ad hoc added committees here and there, like, oh, we're going to have a technology committee. We're going to, after 9/11, obviously they changed, some of our national security apparatuses as well. But we haven't had a big overhaul of the committee structure and, what needs to be overseen in our current society. So I would mention that. And then the other thing is when the Gingrich Revolution happened in 1994, again, Democrats had controlled the House for over 40 years before 1994. And that's really when part of this intense partisan divide started to take hold, because even though Republicans remembered what it was like being in the minority and they talked a good game of, when we take power, we're not going to treat the minority this way, they actually did the opposite. And they took minority power away with a vengeance. And one of the things that they did was they significantly stripped the budget of committee staff in particular. And committee staff is technically, again, I can speak to this firsthand. It's one of the reasons that I left the Hill is, it's a monetary issue. You can get paid twice as much to do similar work at an outside organization than you can for, doing it as a congressional staffer. And particularly on the Republican side, you have House members who pride themselves on not paying their staff and having less staff, being like, look at me, I'm saving the government money. I gave part of my, the budget allocated to my office, I gave a percentage of it back. And
this is absolutely crazy, considering that that's budget for your district, and you're saving the entire country a few pennies per district. The math makes absolutely no sense if you're thinking about that from the standpoint of representative new issue. Another thing kind of in that more...
He's like the guy from Yellowstone who's like, I'm firing all of my staff because I can just figure my policies out on my own, because that's how we do up here in Montana or whatever.
Representation aspect of things is the recent assault on the Voting Rights Act. And kind of, I guess, one thing is that it seems like the no cap effort might be helpful in making it a little bit less plausible and possible to, totally eradicate the representation of large black cities, for example, and things like that. That it would be very challenging to do that with a larger house that has more reasonable districts. Or I don't know your thoughts on that, whether no cap, like how complementary or like would uncapping the house have any impact on that issue, or do you think that's something that would need an entirely different solution?
No. So I mean, again, it's back to the point. If your districts are smaller, it's going to be easier to have like-minded groups together. So you're not going to be able to carve up, some of these urban environments in the same way if districts are smaller. So absolutely, I think that those two things go hand in hand. The law still is going to say what it's going to say. It's not going to be mandatory to draw those districts in the way that it was before the Cali decision was issued. But I think, at its core, no matter what race you are, that's the point of uncapping the house is, having these smaller districts where you are with people who are more similarly situated, keeping these communities of interest together. It gets easier to do that when you don't have to draw this big sprawling heap of 800,000 people.
What got you kind of passionate about the filibuster specifically? Like when you heard that prompt or whatever, why was this the topic?
Well, with the filibuster, I got passionate about that about 5 years ago.
The Discord sounded to be way quieter.
When I was reading some articles from Vox, when Ezra Klein was still there, and Ezra Klein's been talking about the filibuster for like 20 years, but he's been really passionate about it.
Yeah.
And for me, when I look at stuff in American democracy that are problems, like the Electoral College or the Senate, fixing that stuff would probably require a constitutional amendment. But with the filibuster, it's legit just 51 senators. You can fix this at any time, like a really easy fix, and I think it would just drastically improve our democracy and put us in the same the same level as other democracies. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think the United States is the only country where you need a supermajority just to pass routine legislation.
I think I remember back to similar to a journey of yours. I came to a similar type of position that that the filibuster makes it so that there's just a general incoherence between the what people run on versus what governing actually looks like. So that that Republicans have been able to go truly insane in their platform and in what they message on, partially because at least at the federal level, they're not able actually to do any of the things that they're talking about. So they never actually have to face the consequences of actually having to vote for that legislation.
Yeah, some people will say that if we get rid of the filibuster, then the Republicans might do an abortion ban. But I'm like, if they want to do an abortion ban, God bless them. We'll just see how that works out for them in the next election.
Yeah, and we'll overturn that thing. Yeah, absolutely. Let them catch the car, for sure. So I think probably your ideas of having it so that it retains its original purpose of ensuring debate.
I like the idea of debating. Although I want to point out that I didn't get into this in the piece. I didn't have space for it, but. With the history of the filibuster, it was never about debate or anything like that. Filibustering has always been about taking advantage of loopholes to stop legislation you can't via the vote.
I mean, I think the English word, if you just said, "Oh, you're filibustering" or something like that, I think it's pretty clear that's what it means. Yeah, kind of how it's.
The original word came from Dutch or Spanish. It meant pirate. And basically back in the 1800s, if somebody accused you of filibustering in the Senate, they were kind of accusing you of being a traitor because they were saying you're hijacking the U.S. government and allowing Congress to function. That's the genesis of the term in English.
This is an interesting stat. Apparently. So the Washington Post put out a piece doing a whip count where they had apparently this had come up when the Democrats had a majority, according to I think a whip count. Oh, and it was the voting rights package in 2022. This issue came up, and apparently
they had 48 votes for that.
Yeah,
they have 48. Yeah.
Well, 21 to eliminate the filibuster outright.
Oh, really?
And 27 that are committed to changes to the filibuster. Presumably something that would make it so that there was a pathway eventually for a majority to pass them. Which is fine with me. I really don't care as long as you can keep some form of the filibuster to delay things out for a month or something.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea of debating things. I just don't think ultimately
filibuster's got to go.
I agree. I think the founding fathers got something wrong, but I do think they were right on the importance of majority rule.
What I was generally going for was
they got to edit it better.
What? Are you confused?
No, I just don't like hearing it.
Really?
In the introduction, basically saying, regardless of where you are in the political aisle, even if you're a Republican. If you like the idea of a Supreme Court, we don't have that, and that's at risk, right? That the only way a Supreme Court can exist in its ideal form, which is this nonpartisan, impartial arbiter that everyone whose rulings everyone can respect, that requires the court to maintain bipartisan favorability, right? It cannot be all the Republicans love it and all the Democrats hate it. It just won't even work at that point.
I'd argue that Republicans don't actually want that, but they want a court that they like and Democrats don't. But yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think they want the court that they want in the short term, but I think if that were to persist, any sort of not that these people exist, but Republicans that can kind of think ahead a little bit would recognize that eventually that just sort of erodes the court as an institution. Period. So the idea is this should at least be agreeable to everyone on the left, right? Okay, maybe you don't want to get too aggressive here, but if we do nothing, you're not going to have even a shadow of the court that you want in a decade. So sort of teeing up, that's the issue, right? That if you can't get at least half of the Democrats in the world to sort of respect the court, it's not going to maintain its legitimacy.
Does it matter if we have a justification? So I think you talk about the fact that we've had particular grievances with the Supreme Court. And I guess what I might challenge this idea of that I think is a little bit in the piece is that the reason why the Supreme Court, like why we're justified in taking more radical steps around the Supreme Court, is related to Republicans' actions in the past, the Mitch McConnell actions, like around the Supreme Court, both setting like the precedent that we're going to let elections happen, taking the first, and then rushing through a late term confirmation with the second. And that if we live in a world where Republicans were saying, and this is all they were doing, is that they were basically playing hardball with the court a bit, like this, and they had managed to, steal, I guess what we could say, like around, like the Bush v. Gore type decision of, where it's like, this is unfair, but the future of our democracy was not at stake, that we are dealing with the current Republican conservative movement. I guess, like, I'm just curious kind of how you think about like that kind of hypothetical world. And like, it seems to me like the conversation would be a lot different if it weren't the fact that like we have real work to do, fight for like the future of liberalism. And like one of those is like literally the power the Supreme Court gives. It doesn't even matter why they have the majority they do.
I agree with that. So I don't know if you've seen like some of the recent debates that Pisco and Josiah have done about like self-defense.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I think if I understand you correctly, I agree in that I don't think self-defense is relevant.
Yeah.
Meaning if, let's say Mitch McConnell didn't do anything, nor violating.
Pure chance.
Yeah.
They had managed to give themselves a 6-3 majority.
Yeah, I think we should still do that.
Liberals do need to have a resoluteness about the fact that if whatever consensus we're able to arrive at from within Congress, that if the court chooses to get in the way of that, that will basically kind of further justify kind of that need base. So in like one sense, we might end up with like Supreme Court reform doing something relatively mild. Is the only thing that we're able to do, something like term limits or something like that, which I think will send a message for sure, and to the broader population that like what has happened to this point is unacceptable. But if the court chooses at that point to try to override the will of the righteous anger that obviously is going to come their way to some degree, then like that will provide further motivation. I don't think there's a way of totally avoiding that. But I think that it's not quite partisan. I wouldn't describe it as like pure power politics in that way necessarily. It doesn't feel that way to me. I don't know if you see the distinction of what I'm kind of saying versus that, of like kind of whatever we could get away with kind of thing.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is because I have that paragraph where I sort of go through why the conservative majority of the court is both unprincipled and sort of unprecedented in its partisan rulings. I think after that I have a footnote about the birthright citizenship case as well, but because I was thinking about basically going further and saying this court would stop like even reasonable democratic, if the Democrats managed to regain control of both chambers of Congress, the presidency, this court would step in the way of something that has political appeal. And I didn't really want to eat my words if the Supreme Court rules against Trump on birthright citizenship.
Which I think they probably will, to be fair. That's not the kind of thing that necessarily... I view it as it's much more likely that they will be incredibly antagonistic to a Democratic agenda than that they are like super wild about everything Trump is doing.
Yeah, I'll think about ways to sort of bolster that point then, because what we're trying to say is like the court as it is not tenable to keep it the way it is. I list a bunch of cases and sort of explain why they're both contradictory and unprincipled. Not just like the outcomes are bad, but that like the justification, it's motivated reasoning behind all of them. So I'll go a little bit further and say that prospectively, right, this court will continue to apply that type of motivated reasoning, even if the Democrats were to, win in Congress.
Yeah.
I follow some of the law professors that are like originalists. Like one of the ones I follow is a Scalia clerk, and he is like increasingly like I remember at the beginning of even like 2024, he was like kind of a defender, like he was a good faith guy, but he was like, well, maybe the court's trying to be reasonable and they're trying to like here's some like reasonable arguments for why they do what they do. But at this point, I think it was the VRA, Louisiana v. Calais, where he's like, okay, yeah, like I can't really defend this anymore.
About corruption and traitors of democracy. So this one, I think it's the way that you go into it is good. The first two sections where like there has to be some address and kind of validation of the righteous anger. And I think something that I think is good here is that I don't think there's a lot of saying like, and we need to temper it and get over it, right?
Yeah, no.
Because
there's a resignation to the fact. There's a resignation to the fact that it will not feel like justice. It may not feel like full justice. Obviously, we can aspire to that, but
and the deal is that even if there was like most courtroom justice doesn't feel like justice either, right? Because if my child was murdered and we put that guy in jail or even sentenced him to death, I don't get my child back, right? So like justice naturally is not going to put you back to where you were, especially in the case of these kinds of crimes. And it should be more. And I think you're doing this right in here. Of we aren't righteously angry and therefore that's why we're going to go and violently kill a bunch of people. It's that righteous anger needs to be channeled into political will and political capital to then make changes so that it doesn't happen again and to hold as many people accountable as we can, but as part of that process. But the anger needs to be channeled in a way so that we can put in an emoluments execution or the third section 2 of the First Amendment execution.
Yeah, and they're a little bit separate mechanisms. I mean, I kind of point out Congress is the natural vehicle for that. Like they can find out the truth, they can bring out like kind of the full like power of the state down on you, but only in the way that you're still protected by like process elsewhere. And so we should definitely do that. But then like separate from that, the implementation of some areas of our Constitution that to this point in our history have kind of been left to good faith to a much greater extent.
Yes.
But obviously we can't count on that now.
The problem is that right now, a lot of people are really afraid to codify everything and make this gigantic, unwieldy law book that is just so hard to do. But the problem is the other side of that is that we have one that's so flimsy, that so relies on norms that it can very, very easily be abused by bad actors. That's not to say that like a large law book can't be abused by bad actors, but by having things more specifically codified, right, it's easier to see bad actors earlier on, and it makes it harder for them to hide behind these norms and this good faith stuff. If instead, no, I don't care about good faith or not. There's a specific intentional process that you have to follow, and if you don't follow it, I don't care if you're good faith or bad faith, it's wrong, and you can't do it. And so in those cases, then I don't have to worry. I don't have to think like, oh, I hope the public gets offended enough to vote this guy out of office. No, I don't need to worry about the public's opinion about some guy violating a norm that nobody actually knows about, right?
Yeah, and the really cool thing about the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment and the Emoluments Clause is that that's already law. So it doesn't get into the issue of retroactive, like the fact that like if we wanted to pass a bunch of new criminal statutes to try to punish the Trump administration for things that were norm violations, that's not an avenue that we could effectively go down. Of course, I'm sure they committed a ton of crimes, and we should find every single one of them and make sure that people are held accountable for them, even if they're loosely related to the thing we're actually mad at them about. But at the same time, like emoluments, like that's already in the Constitution. It was very clearly there, like at the time. It's just a matter that we need to create some mechanism potentially to act on it. But the fact that Trump has received tremendous wealth from overseas through various dealings, through cryptocurrency, through other things like that or whatever, those were already illegal, like in law. It just was not like there wasn't a mechanism to like how was that going to be brought about. And similarly to participating in insurrection, supporting insurrection.
Wow. Big deal with it is that like I think it's fine that we have agencies
Wait, why did it?
Participating in insurrection, supporting insurrection.
Big deal with it is that like I think it's fine that we have agencies promulgating rules that have been delegated by Congress. I think my issue to me is that the executive has so much involvement as far as like the operating and running of it, like dictating the ways these things should go. I don't really see why the president, if the Congress says we want to make the EPA and we're making it to protect the environment, let's say, I don't really see a connection between that and why the president should be able to direct the people there to act a certain way. Because the president can claim, oh, I'm trying to protect the environment by doing this, but like, it's one of these things where it's like, well, depending on the administration, what decade we're in, things like that, that's going to be radically different. So I'm not sure to me why these agencies should exist, that they just kind of spin them out, shoo them off, and then the legislature doesn't really ever interact with them again. That's kind of how a lot of it feels, other than to say like, oh, we're going to approve or not approve people you appoint to it. Well, that's like the smallest amount of interaction they can have, right?
Well, that's one of the things that so first, I'd say like the legal regime at the Supreme Court that we've seen, and so there is a piece talking about like reforming the Supreme Court and things. I do think that we have to think about like executive reform in the context of like what is the law now. And so I do think that it is now established that we cannot count on, even if you were to like, try to strengthen the appointment process and things like that or whatever, ultimately it has now been determined that the president can just meddle in these agencies. Even things where Congress took a great deal of care to try to make them special independent, not just, agency norms. There's obviously a tremendous amount of interference that's now possible. So I think that one thing I try to get into the piece is to like clarify that Congress has actually been considerably more involved in its oversight role historically. Maybe not in the last decade or so, or maybe, but they have been more involved than is often appreciated, because they have the power basically to strike down and basically interfere with like what an executive agency is doing. They retained that power when they created these agencies, so the agency has to put something on the Federal Register, and then there's like a public commenting period, and then to be able to do something, and then once they do that, they put out their final rule, they start going about it, and during that process, Congress also has the power to either like leave comment, they can actually strike down like what is being proposed by a department. And because of this, what actually happens is a lot of these oversight hearings and a lot of these conversations not on the floor, but like with just congressperson to or senator to like agency head in like their oversight role is basically like, hey, what kinds of things are you doing? I would like it maybe to be more like this for my concerns, things like that. And I am not going to be a big supporter of what you're doing otherwise. And it's kind of like if an agency head is at all competent, it would never pass a final rule, that Congress would never do anything. So it's a little bit like the paradox where it's like, wow, federal juries really just never like acquit anybody. Damn, they're constantly winning all their cases. Like, are they check it all? And it's like, well, it's because usually the feds, when they bring a case, they're like really, really sure. In this case, it's even more extreme than that because there's really no public interest even to propose a rule that like it's completely opposed by.